Okay, welcome. So, welcome to all. This webinar is organized to officially launch some World Beyond War chapter in Africa. The World Beyond War movement continued to grow in the continent since 2020, when the first chapter was established in Cameroon. And now we have 10 active chapters already, 3 of which have been just launched, including Togo, Ivory Coast, South-Kivu in the Republic of Congo. The others are Burundi, Cameroon, Mali, Nigeria, Senegal, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. During this webinar session, we will be happy to welcome 3 new chapters that will officially start the actions towards ending war on the continent, and that is Gambia, South Africa, and Kenya. The items on our agenda are an introduction to World Beyond War by Gay Figap, who is our Africa organizer, followed by a presentation of the country and context of chapters being launched by the future chapter coordinators. And we're going to talk about the role and missions of the chapters and the support that World Beyond War can bring to them. That will be presented by Gay. And time will be allocated for experience sharing by the coordinators of other chapters and questions from the audience. The webinar is in English and our time online is 1.5 hours. It will be recording and the recording will be sent afterward to all those who get registered. Participants can add their question in the chat box on Zoom. You can direct the question to someone specifically or ask a general question. We'll do our best to get to all of them, but we may miss some. So we're gonna start introduction of our panelists. Our first panelist is Omar Mboub. Omar Mboub is a young leader and activist who started the World Beyond War chapter in Gambia. It is passionate for advocating SDG and is a specialist in youth development and social justice. Umar is a Youth Development African Award nominee 2023, founder of Gambia Youth Leadership Activist Advocacy, National Coordinator for Africa Youth Leadership Gambia Chapter. It is Head of Advocacy for Equal Trade Alliance Gambia, Tower Africa Ambassador. And our next panelist is Charles George Onion. He's from South-Sudan. He has a degree in public administration and management, in diploma in food security and livelihood. Currently, he is working for an organization called Support for Women in Governance organization as a program manager. It is the founder of Agri-Edu and Community Link Network. Our next speaker is James Samson Owaka. James Samson Owaka is a peace practitioner and social justice activist with over 10 years standing. It is the executive director of SPSS Africa, a regional peace and security organization implementing program within the East Horn of Africa. And our last panelist is Gay Figap, who is the Africa organizer of World Beyond War. It is a teacher, a writer, and a peace activist based in Cameroon. His overall job is to educate youth for peace and nonviolence. His work puts young girls in particular at the heart of crisis resolution, awareness, raising on several issues in their communities. He joined IILPF Cameroon when it was established in 2014 and founded the Cameroon chapter of World Beyond War in 2020. Welcome to all of you. So we're gonna start with Gay Figap. Gay Figap, we may have the floor, but we have a question for you. Can you tell us more about World Beyond War? You have 7 minutes to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatoumata. Welcome to everyone on this webinar. So I will play a short video, 3-minute video, to answer the question, what is World Beyond War? The video was recorded by the organizing director of World Beyond War. After the video, I will share some updated figures, because the figures that are in the video that we see have changed. So I will come back after the short video. So let's watch the video now. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
War is a grassroots global network to end all war. Our mission is to abolish the institution of war. Founded in 2014, World Beyond War is a decentralized network run by volunteers around the world, taking action in their communities, with a small staff providing support and resources. Signing the Declaration of Peace is a commitment to work non-violently towards our mission to end all war. Tens of thousands of people across 192 countries have signed World Beyond War's Peace Pledge. Our work is centered on two main pillars: peace education and nonviolent direct action. We debunk the myths of war, demonstrating that war is not inevitable, necessary, beneficial, or just. Our books, online courses, webinars, fact sheets, and other educational materials underscore the reasons to end war, what we call the 7 whys. The AGSS, the Alternative Global Security System, is World Beyond War's blueprint for how we can demilitarize security, manage conflict non-violently, and create a culture of peace. Our second pillar is our action campaigns, with particular focus on weapons divestment and closing military bases. Intersectionality, connecting the dots between issues, is crucial to our approach, which recognizes that war is a leading contributor to racism, climate change, economic inequality, and so much more. Nonviolence is also key to our organizing approach, based on research proving the efficacy of nonviolence versus violence. From taking action to block the arms trade, to campaigning in solidarity with communities in active war zones, our work takes many forms around the globe. Through our distributed model, our chapters and affiliates take the lead by working on strategic issues of importance to their communities towards the goal of war abolition. Join the movement at WorldBeyondWar.org.
Okay. Great. That was the short video, less than 3 minutes, that says what is World Beyond War. World Beyond War started 10 years ago. This year, the organization is celebrating the 10th anniversary. So a lot has happened in the meantime. So from the figures that you just saw online, I want to remind that the signers of the peace pledge of World Beyond War are in 193 countries today. So we have 198 countries. Yes, 998 countries. We have chapters. We have 34 chapters today, and we have 100 affiliates of World Beyond War. And we have 934 organizations that have signed the peace pledge. So this is World Beyond War, whose actions is now centered around peace education, nonviolent action, and media. Media is one of the focus that on which we laid our action toward getting a world beyond war. Our declaration of peace that have been signed by the, widely, I want to read it for all to know as chapters who are starting, that this is what guides our vision, our action. The Declaration of Peace reads, I understand that wars and militarism make us less safe rather than protect us, that they kill, injure, and traumatize adults, children, and infants, severely damage the natural environment, erode civil liberties, and drain our economies, siphoning resources from life-affirming activities. I commit to engage in and support nonviolent efforts to end all war and preparations for war, and to create a sustainable and just peace. This is our declaration of peace that we invite chapters to sign, invite their members to sign, and share it widely for more people to be part of this quest for global peace and for the ends of wars. So this is what we can say as introduction to what is World Beyond War. And the chapters are part of this movement to make it expand in different contexts, in different countries. So I will be back in my next intervention to share some of the things that World Beyond War can do for the chapters and what the chapters has to do as soon as they sign up. Thank you. I will be back shortly. Yeah. Fatoumata? Fatoumata? We can't find Fatoumata online. Maybe she has connectivity issues. So while waiting for Fatoumata to come back, we will continue the presentation with the chapters to be officially launched today. So Omar, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm there. So hope
Yes.
you are getting me clear.
Yes, very well. So we want to hear about you, Omar, the coordinator. We want to hear about your country. People will be interested to know where is Gambia, how is Gambia, what's the security context of Gambia, why do you need a chapter in Gambia, and yes, I think Fatoumata is getting back in the main room. Welcome back, Fatoumata.
I'm sorry, we had a blackout, but now it's okay.
So sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so I just finished my presentation and I was about to introduce Omar, so I give it back to you.
Okay, just yes, Omar, you may have the floor to tell us about your country context and experience.
Yeah, okay.
You have 10
no
minutes.
problem.
Okay.
Okay, problem. Like good afternoon, good evening, because we are having different times, So well, my name is Omar Mbu. I'm an activist, I'm a youth leader. I've been doing my advocacy on peace since I was young here. Witnessing different conflicts here. So contributing to my voice, also being voluntary with different local organizations here that also advocate for peace as well. Well, that's who I am for short. And also about the Gambia, like where we are located. Gambia is a small country in West Africa. So has a beautiful beach with dimensional ecosystem. And the country also is a small country, Mamaland, Africa. It's been surrounded by Senegal. Except its coastline along the Atlantic Ocean, and we gained also independence from the British rule in 1965, and from there, we also have a various empire and culture as well. And also, the country also has a unique culture with blind different ethnic groups. Like here also, we have different ethnic groups, but majority of the ethnic group is like Mandinka. And also, we are also bordering with Senegal. Like all part of the country, the location we are border with Senegal. We also border with Senegal in Casamance. And recently there was a conflict that was going on, but still now the conflict is somehow calm a bit. I myself, I was also there, like with the organization, I was doing volunteering in the peace. We went there, and we give them support, like water, sanitation as well. That border is between Pony and Casamance. It's not far away from Brikama. And also, yes. Also, I believe that the reason why we need the world beyond war, we need the world beyond war so much because in our security concept as well. So we have been experienced, lot of security problems here, to be established, and also we also witness the political stability as well. So we also have some kind of problem between two political parties here in our country. So I think we need world beyond war so that we can create awareness, okay, in the community level and also in the education level as well. Target in school, go with them, raise awareness, teach them, about about conflict, about the importance of advocacy for peace as well. So we believe that those children, once we taught them and we taught them about peace, they can be also ambassadors to their home, whereby they can also advocate and tell their parents about world beyond war, and also explain them about also the importance of peace as well. So recently, in our security, it's been also some kind of bit improving because since 2016, we have Star Republic, that is President Adama Barrow. So he promised us that, he's going to work on security sector reform. So that one also, we need also to be more on advocacy, about the importance of peace, within our environment. And also, our best also, we can dialogue with those political parties or people who are very influenced to ensure that, measurements, are taken to the safety of our citizens and also those who are coming also here in the country.
Okay. Omar, maybe his line is breaking. Omar, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think we have lost Omar. Maybe. Gay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. Omar have some
Hello.
issue. Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, Omar. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we just light just went off, and just came back again, sorry. But I hope, you are able to hear what I'm saying during my speech. Hello, are you
Okay,
getting me?
Omar. Yes, yes.
Yes, I think definitely, we need World Beyond War in our country, whereby, we can raise awareness, and also we can teach also has them, in community level and also in also education level. And also, you can raise more awareness. I think also, working with having the World Beyond War chapter here, can impact a lot of lives and can also promote, peace through literacy and also reading, within our community here. And also, by also engaging them, having activities with them, that one also, can help them also, to understand the importance of peace, within our environment. And also, having also club, targeting also school, whereby, you can go there, and have workshop, seminar, training, with the youth or, with the community level. That one also, can help us well. So I believe that, having World Beyond War here in my country, working together with different chapters on the World Beyond War, can impact a lot of lives here in my country.
Okay. Thank you, Omar, for your presentation. So our next panelist is Charles. Charles, we have 3 questions. Can you tell us about your country, South-Sudan? What is the security context of South-Sudan, and why World Beyond War chapter? What possible activities and strategies? Please keep your presentation to 10 minutes. You may have the floor.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I hope I'm loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I'm called by the name Onan Charles. I'm the founder of Agri-Edu and Community Link Network. Currently, I serve for support for women in governance organization as a program manager. In fact, I came from South Sudan. South Sudan is the only country on earth that have on the 5 vice presidents. If you continue to follow on the news from the CNN and the BBC, the 5 vice presidents. South Sudan obtained our independence from Sudan, and it was on 9 July 2011, following a successful referendum. And it is said to be a newest country in the world. After the independence of South Sudan has experienced a number of insurgency and civil war. The civil war, which happened after the separation of South Sudan from Sudan, was in 2013, when the vice presidents and the presidents have some power struggles that resulted into fightings, and the fighting escalated to different parts of the country. That war ended by signing agreement called a compromise peace agreement, which was signed between the parties to the war. After the signing, the party, with the help of IGAD and IGAD Plus and Troika, in 2016, again, the war erupted in South Sudan. The war happened due to power sharing and power struggling that has claimed a lot of life. More than 10,000 of people lost their life during that very time. And to make the matter worse, I was in Juba, where the fighting is taking place, and the place where the fighting began. And that fighting ended by signing agreement called Revitalized Peace Agreement on the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, which was supported by IGAD, the international community, and the Troika. And these agreements, the end of the agreement was result to elections, the election of people, of the president of South Sudan. But due to time constraints, the agreement was extended. So this year in December, South Sudan is going for election. There's a high chance that South Sudan needs peace more than war. And if we do not look careful, the country will go again to war, of which this is a high time for World Beyond War to take part in making sure that countries like South Sudan do not go back in fighting. Currently, the country is implementing this peace agreement. The peace agreement has a lot of setback. Sometimes you go ahead, then it pushes you back. This is political system of African leaders. So people are still suffering. The suffering ranging from lack of access to education to support the girl child, lack of the politicians spent by the youth. So these are some situations that is happening in South Sudan. And to make it worse, the issue of cattle rationing, which is almost the trigger of the violence, and the migration of cattle from one location to another. For example, when the cattle migrated from the western part of the country to the eastern part of the country, you know, the two communities are different. The other one are pastoralists, then the other ones are agriculture, where I came from the eastern part of the country, in Magui. We do agriculture. But, you know, when the cattle come in, damages the crop production, resulted to fighting, of which up to now, South Sudan is still facing a lot. We still need a lot to do to ensure that stability and non-violent movements, peace education, should reach to many people in the country. I think this is briefly on the context specific of South Sudan. I can summarize that we are living in a fragile country, a country that needs more to be done when it comes to issue of preventing violence and advocating for non-violence movement in South Sudan. Then specifically, I wanted to talk on some of the activities. Experience from organization that I work for and some international organization that I happen to coordinate the activities in South Sudan. We managed to do intergenerational peace dialogues between the conflict community, where we involve the conflict community to come to have dialogues among themselves and come up with resolution to help sustain peace in their community. This is in Bor, in Eastern Equatorial Capital, which is in eastern part of South Sudan. We also involve in stakeholders strategic consultative meeting. We bring together the politicians, the parliamentary, the young youth leaders, the women caucus, the business community and the international community, the UN agencies. We discuss issues relating to peace and peace agreement. We want the community from the urban to the rural, to the most remote area to have access to information relating to peace and how they will help in sustaining those peace when they have better information to make things moving forward. We also embark on advocacy and awareness. This is the important instrument with things it can help to aware community and create a room for expression and sensitization of community when it comes to issue of peace. We undertake community dialogues through conflict resolution mechanism to prevent alternative crimes and violence. This is we're doing through the Ministry of Peace Building, South Sudan. With this, the most recent approach we're trying to prevent conflicts in Bibor. Bibor is one of the places in South Sudan that has experienced numbers of wars, and people there, we term them to be isolated and marginalized community. They do not have access to education, infrastructure, and they are really isolated. with a lot of bad things happening, and people do not have access to opportunity, access to information relating to peace. To continue, I may talk on the reason why we need World Beyond War in South Sudan. Like I mentioned before, the context of South Sudan is diverse. So many organizations in South Sudan that are trying to do their best. But with what little they're doing, the country is still experiencing a lot of circumstances that resulted from violent war and violent conflicts. With the new expertise that World Beyond War may come in, I have no doubt that the experience of 10 years, World Beyond War will provide additional invaluable resourceful expertise to help us get new ideas on how to solve some of the problems that we are facing. Although we believe in the context of Africa, that African solution for African problems, I realize the importance of having World Beyond War in South Sudan situation. That come with capacity buildings, that come with technical supports, that come with advancements of peace education and media engagement, of which I know World Beyond War has the opportunity and has the expertise to ensure that these things I mentioned come to effective. I have no doubt that you made that. That is the reason why we need World Beyond War in South Sudan. And to make it more interesting, we are coming to election in December. And you know, in African context, a post-war countries, when they're doing election, there is war. There's no doubt. Due to the reckless behavior of our politicians, we will have war. So this time I have to be very specific because we learned that history repeats itself. And we know how African leaders behave when they want to sustain power. And I believe this is an opportunity that World Beyond War can contribute to help prevent and mitigate before the war happens. And totally, we need to abolish the institution that not only create war in South Sudan, but also around the globe. So this is the reasons why we need World Beyond War in our country. More so, on some of the activities that we are doing, and also I suggest as one of the practical means for us to achieve and sustain peace in South Sudan, based on my experience of YPS agenda and WPS, which is Women, Peace and Security and Youth Peace and Security, building on that international instruments, with the knowledge that I have, with the level of connections that I have, it will make it easy to advance and expand the mission and goals of World Beyond War in South Sudan to reach to the local community. We will do this. One of the approach and the strategies will be awareness. We will embark more on awareness and also advocacy. We will do advocacy at the national level governments, a state level government, even the county level government. This is something that we will do. And basically on the area of trainings, capacity, and maybe workshop, where we can engage with young people from the conflicting society, we train them, and also maybe initiate mobile education to the pastoralist people to help them understand that people are no longer for war. People need peace. And this peace are built on consensus that everyone has the responsibility to take part in it. This time, everyone will take part, because I know with the resources that the World Beyond War come in with the expertise, I have no doubt that South Sudan will be in a safe power place. Otherwise, this is just some presentation that I have to make from South Sudan. I remain myself, Onen Charles.
Teacher, thank you for your presentation. So I will give the floor to James. James, can you hear me? James, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you will have to answer these three questions. The first is, can you tell us about your country, Kenya? The second question is, what is the security context of Kenya? And the last, why a World Beyond War chapter? What possible activities and strategies? Please keep your presentation to 10 minutes. You may have the floor.
I may not answer those questions in that order,
Okay.
but I'll try my level best to answer each one.
Okay.
Now, Kenya sits on the East African side of the continent Africa. Kenya today is the gateway to about 5 or 6 interlocked countries, given that it sits on the shores or on the shoreline of the Great Indian Ocean. For those who may not know, Kenya gained independence on the 12th of 1963, but before then, Kenya was declared a republic on the 1st of June, 1963. So Kenyans today are celebrating what is referred to as Jamhuri Day, to commemorate when Kenya gained independence or when Kenya became a republic. Now, the Kenyan security context is a little bit here and there. Kenya has over the years remained a beacon of peace in the region, a region that sadly was facing intermittent conflict and internal strife from Uganda in the 1980s, Rwanda, Burundi in the 80s, the 20s, and the 2000s, the evolving conflict in the DRC, the civil strife in Eritrea and Ethiopia, and the ongoing conflict or situation in Somalia. Kenya, having gained independence from the British, has over the years gravitated her policies and direction towards the former partners and the former colonial metropole. And this has pretty much defined our peace and security architecture. We have traveled over the years from Kenya being a country among the non-aligned movement during the Cold War. We have attempted to face the East because of the Chinese economic influence. And we are recently back to stick and carrot diplomacy by the US, who are trying to gain a foothold. Basically, I'm just laying the context so that as I proceed, my friends would be able to understand where we're coming from. What I refer to as carrot and stick diplomacy by the US that is currently going on. So Kenya finds herself in a tight and tricky situation. Although Kenya remains a strong nation, a partner and a leader in the Africa Rising project, in environmental conservation and climate change, Kenya hosted this year one of the largest climate change conferences, global climate change conferences. I mean, Kenya has undertaken a number of peace building and conflict transformation to democracy within the East, the Horn and the Great Lakes region of Africa. And Kenya today is focusing her foreign policy framework on helping to mediate peace and reconciliation among African countries at war. Kenya has also had her fair share in peacekeeping missions across the African continent, and across the globe. This includes Rhodesia in 1979, when Kenya contributed military officers. Kenyan troops are today serving in AMISOM in Somalia. Kenyan troops have served in UNIMOG in Iran, Iraq in 1988 to 1990. Kenyan military officers served in Namibia. Kenyan military officers have served across the African continent in Sudan, at UNAMIS, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Lebanon, Mali, Croatia, and many other countries. So in terms of peacekeeping, Kenya has played a role. As my friends would be aware, Kenya is currently leading a multinational force, police force, heading to Haiti. And the United States has committed resources towards the Kenyan police and officers from Barbados and a few other Caribbean countries to help pacify Haiti and to make sure that the rule of law and order returns to that country. Kenya, of course, is serving under the East Africa Community mandated East Africa Community Regional Force, ECRF, in the DRC, among other places. Now, Kenya sits on the front line of terrorism, granted what has happened in Somalia over the past couple of years. Kenya has borne the physical, emotional, and psychological brunt of terrorist activities, some from across the border and others in her soil. So that is an evolving security situation in this country that we are dealing with, and the rest of other African countries, particularly in this region, are dealing with the same. We have our own internal little strife here and there. My good brother from Sudan is speaking from pastoralist communities and agrarian communities having conflicts. We have had political issues that have required the East African community and the African Union to come in and mediate the political situation. So we haven't had anything major. But in terms of our contribution to global peace and security, we have a stake as a country. In terms of the leadership that we're providing within the East African community, we have a stake as a country. In terms of what ought to be done, the efforts around the common good, Kenya has a stake as a country. And that is why we are joining the global movement at World Beyond War to show up support for efforts against war throughout the East African community, in the African continent, and globally. Incidentally, and I want to say this with a lot of humility and respect for other countries, Kenya stands accused by the Democratic Republic of Congo. Kenya stands accused by South Sudan and the entire Sudan, the former Sudan, to be either harboring elements that are trying to destabilize these countries, or the minerals that are used, that buy weapons to wage war against civilians in the DRC could be passing through this country. So we have a stake in terms of what we ought to do to protect citizens within these countries. There's something that comes through this country, or passes through this country, that in one way or another exacerbates those wars. If we come together collectively as Kenyans and other people, then we would be able to stratify the peace efforts that are being negotiated or that are being implemented within these countries. And that is the reason why we, as a country, are eager. This ought to have happened 3 years ago, had I not been slightly busy. We initiated contacts 3 years ago with World Beyond War, and we ought to have had a chapter 2 years ago. But all is not lost. We now have an opportunity to have this reconnection and to continue working on this space. Our main activities will include education training on conflict transformation in our local institutions, communities, church and faith communities. Our engagement will be at the political level, that we will seek to engage with our government and other governments within the East Africa Observer Mission, Observer seat that we have within the East African community as civil society organizations, to continue to advocate proactive measures towards reducing incidences of conflict within the East African community. And we are happy that with the support of our brothers from Elvis from Burundi, I had there's someone from South-Sudan who is now the members of EAC, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania would collectively be able to be a strong force to advocate for policies and interventions that could end war and suffering within the East African community and hopefully in the continent. I don't know if I have answered all the questions that they were put to me, but basically that is our context and that is where we want or intend to go. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, James, for your presentation. Thank you very much. So I'm going to give the floor to Gail to tell us what is expected from a chapter of World Beyond War. What does World Beyond War to support the chapter?
Thank you, Fatoumata. I'm happy to listen to what Omar, Charles, and James just presented about their countries and the prospective activities that can make the movement grow and contribute effectively to having a peaceful Africa. This is wonderful. And World Beyond War in this quest for peace is here at global level to support. The first thing that World Beyond War did was to create the Africa organization, to organize it at African level, that we in Africa should organize for peace. And we are here for that. So that's why I'm here as Africa organizer to share some of the things that World Beyond War can do, what we can do at African regional level to advance peace in our continent and contribute to peace in the world. So the chapter is there to advance World Beyond War's mission to abolish war. So some of the things that the chapter can do to achieve this goal is to host events, like to organize campaigns, to organize activities focused on peace education and non-violent actions. So the chapters can also sign the Declaration of Peace, the Peace Pledge of World Beyond War, and collect signatures within their membership and their networks, collect signatures for the Declaration of Peace. It is expected that a chapter organizes at least 4 events per year. So every year a chapter has to organize a minimum of 4 events. You can organize more than 4 events, but at least 4 events per year. Localized focused action depending on your community. So a chapter, as I said in my first intervention, is there to organize the activity as they see fit in their local context, their national laws, provided they support the vision of ending wars, as World Beyond War request. So what is allocated to chapters are the resources that WorldBeyondWar has. There are lots of materials, lots of technical assistance that can be provided to chapters. We have this blueprint book, a global security system that WorldBeyondWar offers to chapters for their knowledge and to understand how we want to change the world. So how we want to create a culture of peace, how we want to demilitarize security. So we have online courses that are available for the chapters. WorldBeyondWar has chapters that are paid for others, but for the chapters, they are free. All the courses that WorldBeyondWar organize. So we have the webinars, podcasts, fact sheets. We have annual conferences. We have a peace almanac, and we even have Africa a African calendar. This may okay. Sorry, well, sorry for the noise. We muted the person. So please, those who are not talking, may you keep your microphone close. Thank you. So I was saying that in Africa, we have a African peace calendar that was developed this year by the chapter of Senegal. That is like a journey about African culture, Africa peace that you can also have. We have a bureau of speakers. If you want to organize a webinar, WorldBeyondWar will help you create the event, set it up, and find through the event list set that we have to connect you with potential people interested in your event, those who are organizing similar activities that you can collaborate with, create possibility of meeting new organization, new people, new possibilities. And we also have this organizing 101 training that is free for all members of WorldBeyondWar. The chapter coordinators here have taken this course, and you can invite your members to also register for the course and learn how to organize peace events, campaigns, and so on. We have trainings. We have 4 sessions of trainings for the chapters coordinators, and we decide on a specific topic that we want to train the chapters on, and we are also open for your suggestion if you want a particular training or capacity building on a specific issue. So we are open and welcome to train on that and provide facilitation for those meetings that you want to organize. So we can host your event. We have can create a list, a distribution list for your emails in your chapters. If you have to send information to your chapters, you can help share it in one email to everybody who has signed our pledge from your area. We have a website where we publish blog articles that you want to see the public see, you want to publicize to large number of people. And what we will do as part of the next steps will be to create a website for your chapters that will be linked to the WorldBeyondWar global website. We will do that so that when you have events, information, you can just share it with us so that we make it available to the large public, to everyone. Yes, we have free resource and trainings. I said we have this free webpage and email listserv, and we will help connect with peoples around you or having same interest as your activities. So there are some questions that is important. We have questions to that. The first one is, does World Beyond War ever support violence, war, weapons in some circumstances? And here the answer is no. World Beyond War, as we saw in vision, doesn't support violence, doesn't support weapons, doesn't support war in any circumstances, because we believe the world is being destroyed because of war, because of weapons, and we are here to work towards ending those wars. So there is no reason that we can stand to support any sort of violence or weapons or war. Are chapters expected to fundraise for World Beyond War? Yes, chapters can do that if they have the capacity to do that. It is expected that $200 are raised for World Beyond War, but we know it is difficult for chapter to have this fund, so it is not mandatory at all that a chapter should do fundraising for World Beyond War. We are conscious that we need funding ourselves for our chapters to run some campaigns, some activities. That's why World Beyond War Global do not have funding for activities in our countries, but we have the opportunity to do fundraising ourselves within our chapters, with our connections, with our create opportunities. And at the African regional level, we want to join our synergy, we want to join our forces, trying to develop projects that can help us sustain our campaigns, activities. So that's why I'm inviting all of us to do this together, so that we can find opportunities to raise some funding for our local activities. So we have to do that ourselves. Can World Beyond War or my local chapter endorse a political candidate for office? This is not our purpose to support political candidates. No, we have a vision to end wars, to end violence. This is our leitmotif. We don't stand for any political affiliation. That's why we said in the short video that we saw at the beginning that World Beyond War is non-partisan at all. What is the legal structure of a chapter? As I said, it all depends on what we want to do with a chapter in our area. We just have to observe the mission and the vision of World Beyond War, and we align with our national laws, our national action plan that we develop for our activities. And that is so chapters are free to organize themselves as they see fit with their capacities, and just have to inform us or inform me as a chapter of the Africa organizer. What are your projects? What are your perspectives? What do you want to do, so that we can find together how we can support, how best we can support your project, your initiative at local level. So these are some of the things that I can share. And maybe just to add that, in the framework of our future conversation, I will be reaching out to you every month for you to share the updates of what is happening in your country. And when we put all this together, it'll help us to inform the world what we are doing in our local context to find peace and to contribute to peace in the continent and in the world. And to do that, we will be together every day to share some tips on how to mobilize more members, how to recruit more volunteers, how to look for, how to organize for activities. Just reach out, just send email to africa@worldbeyondwar.org or guy@worldbeyondwar.org, and we will be responding to attending to your request. And what we will also do, it will be to create a list set for chapter coordinators in Africa, so that when we have to share information, we share in one email to every chapter coordinators, so that we use this list to organize ourselves for peace in our region. So this is what I can share at this level, and if there are questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, I saw the questions of the contribution of Maxwell in the chat. Maxwell is from Nigeria and said they have organized some of grassroots peace activities that could help building peace and development for the new chapters. So we can give the floor with the permission of the moderator at some point for Maxwell to share. And it is good for all the participants to know that we have a chapter in Nigeria, and the chapter coordinator is Obi Jane, who is also doing a great job in Nigeria. So Maxwell, you have a chapter in Nigeria, and we'll be happy to share the details of the chapter so that you can liaise with them if it's not the case already. And I hope you are part of the chapter already. That will be really great. So I will stop here for now, Fatoumata. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for all this information. So it is time now to give the floor to other chapters who may have any experience of their work to share their experience and answer some of these questions. If there is any question.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. From Maxwell.
Okay, Maxwell.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. We just joined the World Beyond War newly as an organization in Nigeria, and we are happy that new chapters is being established today. And as our organization in Nigeria, because of violent extremism, Boko Haram, and all the rest, we started what we call a peace education advocacy on the establishment of peace clubs in schools in Nigeria. And that has changed policy. It has been endorsed by the stakeholders, by government institutions, where it's been implemented in primary, junior, and secondary schools. And we equally have instructional materials that is equally adopted by the universal basic education in Nigeria across all the schools, because we believe that strengthening institutions is a key to peace building. And when institutions are not strengthened, there's chaos. And where we have war is because there's a weakness in the institutions. And one of the ways we want to strengthen institutions is to make sure that the grassroots are carried along, awareness, orientations, and what have you, community dialogue, are being instituted from the grassroots. And because we know that majority of these issues of war is an ideology, and ideology has to be changed. And that's why peace education is a vital role, plays a vital role. And that's why we play more emphasis on the young ones, trying to make sure that they are educated early enough so that the ideologies of war can be erased from their lives. And we equally make sure that the fact that the roles of the family has collapsed. And we equally know that for us to end war, the family must be strengthened. Children must know their roles. Fathers, parents must know their responsibility. because that is one of the issues. Because all this war we are talking about today, some of them are stories handed over to children by their forefathers and by their fathers for revenge. We must understand that principle. Because there are so many issues about war today we talked about, that so many of them are stories that their forefathers have told them, and the children are growing up to revenge. So when we talk about war, we must look at it holistically. And the issue has to be tackled from the grassroots. Because if you are cutting the branches, it will not work. The advocacy must go to the grassroots. The awareness must go to the grassroots, so that future occurrence of this can now be eliminated. Because if the young ones are being engrafted into peace building and peace development, it will give them a strategic role to play. Even when there is going to be an advert of war, they can stand as a barrier, and that will help us. And that is why the Splendid Child Empowerment International Foundation in Nigeria that just joined just joined this organization has a template. And that is why we feel that it's a good thing for us to share this knowledge to other new chapters that is being formed today, so that they can learn from some of the things we have done so far, and they can take, they can build on that in their various chapters in their various countries that will help them. And that is one of the things I said I will contribute to this forum, because the Peace Club models in schools that we have done, so many schools are joining, so many students and so many pupils and children are becoming peace advocates in their family, in their house, in their communities, and in their families, in all areas of life. And that has equally helped children to build confidence. It can equally help children, to speak out. It has equally helped students to associate and to express themselves in terms of peace building. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maxwell. Very inspiring, really, because myself, as Mali chapter coordinator, we are about to launch our Peace Club here at university. I will get in touch with you to have some tips, tools to improve our own process. Thank you very much. Do you have any question? Do you want to share anything with us before we close?
Yeah, hello, Fatumata.
Yes,
Are you getting me?
please. Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, definitely. I'm so inspired by Maxwell, speech. So he mentioned a good thing. Definitely, like people like us, we also learn from him. At least we can work together as a team. From there, I think we can achieve lot of things. So me also, I'll be very happy, to work on the Peace Club project, because definitely, like what he elaborated, we need the grassroots level, so that our work can be effectively, and also can be accessible more, because having peace education, like we can make great impact. They can also be like ambassadors, like to their home, to their community, and anywhere they go. Like, yeah. So definitely, I'm so inspired. Definitely. Yeah. And I thank everyone here, who participated in this launching. So on our behalf here at the Gambia, I'm also sorry, because right now we have connection problem here with our other GSM. Right now, people are texting me, they said that, they wish, they could join the meeting, but I told them that, we will do, I will do my best, to, talk with guy maybe after, they can also get with the recording. But definitely, the Gambia here, they are very happy, to work on the peace, to work with WorldBeyondWar Gambia chapter, definitely, So I wish, they could be here. I was seeing Ramatullah was here and the other, but they couldn't make it. Because currently, we are having connection to the city with our other Jews, and that's why they could not join. But definitely they are just texting me direct text, direct text. So on our behalf, I thank so much. I just thank our other chapters also, the Kenya, Mali, and also Sudan as well. So let's keep advocating. Let's keep also doing to promote peace in the world. And also I thank the African organizer, my mentor, so and Parmara also, she's my mentor. So she's also doing amazing work definitely, in Mali. So I thank you all so much. I thank you all so much.
Thank you, Omar, for your contribution. Very much appreciated. So, is there any issues to raise before we close?
Yes.
Okay, please. Yes, Charles, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for giving us all the insightful information regarding the world beyond war. To me, is something that I have to appreciate, because I know abolition of the war institution is something that we need to take responsibility about it. I am answering from the point of experience, because I know in a country like South Sudan, if you want to organize events like peace event, people consider it like a way of getting not only training, but sometimes the way of getting some incentive like money. Because if you are organizing activities, you need to cater for the need of the transport, like a transport refunds, and sometimes they need sometime lunch, and sometimes they need snack where they can able to get some refreshment. This is a high calling, because I had the African countries chapters need to organize a project to support their activities, of which one of the person who really acknowledge that call, because I know sometimes it's very hard really to organize the activities when you have nothing. It will make the activity so very impossible, and the organization cost sometime will really cause something not to happen in the way that could it be. That's why it is a high chance for that notice to all of us to consider it, and we come up with something that can help sustain chapters in Africa, and we contribute together to making sure that these activities happen. So this is something that I have to react on, because I know without that plans, most of the chapters, because I know the context of Africans are always the same. To organize activities sometimes it is very costly, but if we do that way, either, so there's high chance and possibility that we can do great thing. In South Sudan, people are so very committed, and I approach a numbers of young people who are so very committed and are willing to move this agenda forward. So from the meeting, I will be able to share the information with my team to them how and what we discussed through this meeting. Otherwise, thank you so much for giving us an elaborate presentation regarding the world beyond war. And thank you to all the chapters who happen to be in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charles, for this contribution. Thank you. Is there any question? So if there is no question, I think it is time to adjourn the webinar. I thank all the chapters who have been here. Okay.
Can I ask one question? Sorry.
Okay,
so,
okay.
yeah, my name is Solomon. I'm actually in Kenya, and I'm happy that there's somebody who spoke is in Kenya representing World Beyond War. I think I've been in discussion with Guy about what we are doing. I am a representative of an organization called the Africa. I also have attended some classes for World Beyond War, and I want to appreciate this webinar because it brings a lot of knowledge to the African country. But one thing that I have to acknowledge, like my colleague from South-Sudan has said, is about the wars in Southern Sudan. My colleague in Kenya has mentioned that many times the weapons that are used in South Sudan or this other country actually comes from passes through Kenya, and this is a big challenge. And I have heard also that the African chapter does not have funds to support some small activities. So the question I want to put across is that, is it possible for all the chapters in Africa to do a kind of consortium or kind of a joint fund applications or something like that to enable the activities that people might be thinking about to be conducted over a period of time? Is this something that could be done? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much. Gary, would you want to answer this question?
Yes, thank you, Solomon. Thank you, Solomon, for this important question. Yes, it is absolutely what I said earlier, since that we are growing in terms of number in Africa, and we are growing in terms of opportunity to make peace prevail in our continent, in our countries. And it is just right that we join our forces together to find ways to make it happen, because peace activities have a cost, and we have capacity. We have capacity to look for funding to make this happen. So that's why it is important that, and we have more chances to seize opportunities when we join our strengths, when we join our hands to write a grant. So there are opportunities that will arise, and we have this Africa annual conference that we started last year. We did the first edition virtually. We want to do the second this year in August, still virtually. And our pretension is that the years to come in the future, we have this type of event in person, that we invite people from different chapters to meet in a place to talk about our challenges and the opportunities that we have to build peace. And for this to happen, we need to work together to find ways to do that. And there are also other opportunities that we can use. There are some funders who have grants allocated for specific countries. So we may find a grant that some countries are eligible, like let me say Kenya, Mali, Cameroon, that other countries are not eligible for that.
Togo is also cheaper.
Yes, so it was just an example, Charlotte. Yes, we may have an example that a grant that a specific country are part of it, and we will invite those countries to join to write a proposal. If it is a grant open to all the chapters, fine. We'll invite all the chapters to join to do the proposal. So my role will be to coordinate all that, and we'll make some brilliant thing, I think, when we work together.
Okay, good. Thank you for this. Okay, I see Omar, you have your hand raised. Please go ahead.
Yeah, like I just wanna make a quick comment about what my brother mentioned about the Sudan coordinator. Definitely, that is true. Like it's hard, people that come to voluntary. For me, I'm doing voluntary for 9 years. Yeah, in my country, so people know me very well. So like what he's also mentioning, that is also true. But I think in time, like we will work together, as a team, and we see how best, like we can able to get some fun, at least if it is small, then yeah, we can at least do it together. Definitely, I understand what he is saying. Even for us currently Gambia, like we thought that you can do the chapter, you can start, going to community or we go to school, but our law here, say that from our justice minister, before starting to do any activities, like one must register from under them, under the means of justice. They will give you a recommendation, also they will also give you a reference code. That reference code, yeah, you can take it anywhere in the world, and yeah, it's under their guidance. So for us right now, like what we want to do, we already have the team. The team is already been set. They are very happy and they're willing to, volunteering. They're willing to participate as well. So the only issue, like for now, we are having, like we have to register it here officially, and also we also have UNESCO. One of my friends, he's also working with UNESCO here in Gambia. So even he's supposed to join. Definitely, he also texted me saying that the same issue, was happening with him. He cannot connect to the internet. But yeah, but he just say that, they are willing to be partners with us. They can also guide us, they can also give us, like a small opportunity. We can be also connected with them here in the Gambia on behalf of the WorldBeyondWar Gambia, and do collaborate, we do activities. Because for them, they already have, I think, 24 school clubs here in all our region. So they are working with, our communities. They are also working with schools as well. So I think, joining with them also will help us. Like what my great brother also mentioned from Sudan. Yeah, that is also true. Like it also like difficult, like once you call people like for conference or training or research, so some, they also say that, like yeah, what they expect is too much than like what you have for them. But I'm sure inshallah in time, yeah, if you can able to work inshallah. But I'm sure about it, inshallah, we are going to work together, with all sectors, and we see how best we can, make this movement, to go forward. But also I think also, my mentor, like yeah, he also, will make so that inshallah, so we try to get more funds so that, at least, each country, can able to do their activities, like small steps, which more fun as well. So thank you all so much. That's what I have.
Okay, thank you very much for this contribution. Is there any question before we close the meeting? Okay, I think that's all. I thanks all the panelists for coming and everyone who joined the webinar. We will send a final email with the recording to all registrants. Gay, I will give you the floor to close the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatumata. Thank you for moderating this session. It was wonderful. And I want to congratulate Gambia, South Sudan, and Kenya for joining the list of the chapters of World Beyond War in Africa. We are really pushing forward to to having a peaceful continent. We have to mobilize more people in our countries to sign our declaration of peace and make peace happen in the country. So I will be in touch with you before we send the recordings. I will send you the agreement that the chapter coordinators will have to sign online. It will take you about 5 minutes just to sign and get access to World Beyond War resources. And yes, so that was great to have 6 new chapters in Africa today. We have the chapter of Togo, we have the chapter of Ivory Coast, and we have the chapter of South-Kivu in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's great job we have really done today. Congratulations to everyone, and see you in our next communications in our other communication channels. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend this webinar. I wish a good evening to everyone.
Okay, thank you to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.